right, everybody. Welcome. Tonight is a good night. We've got a really great match we're going to be showing. I am also joined by another fabulous caster, Money Magic. Welcome.
Hey. Welcome. Thanks for the cordial invite. I'm back by popular demand, but I'm the only one who voted, but that's neither here nor there. No, it's good to be here.
There was more than one vote, man. I promise. No, I'm excited to have you along. I've listened in on your cast. You do a great job, and it's going to be that much more of a good night for us. So tonight we've got Omega Nebula versus Oblivion Gaming, and this is the playoffs, baby. This is the semifinals. And these two teams, we've got Omega is the number 7 seed in the playoffs, and Oblivion's number 6 seed. So according to statistics, this should be a very good back and forth battle matchup. These are the kinds of games I love to see. I don't know about you, my friend.
I like to see the close games, to be honest with you. Like 7 seed, 16. I've seen the stats mean everything, and I've seen them mean absolutely nothing. It literally comes in. It depends on, quite funny, of just the teams, right? It's whoever's going to come here with the absolute killer strategy at the end of the day, in my opinion.
It's the strategy, it's the chemistry, and sometimes either you're good and warmed up, or you're just having an off day, right? You're right. I've seen all of those things. So, I just like to see a good matchup. It's always, since this is a Nebula game, it's nice to see a blowout just because it makes you feel strong. But man, for entertainment purposes, I love to see the good old-fashioned friendly competitive battle. So one little shameless plug here, we do have a Titanium White Octane giveaway we are running this week. I may do it tomorrow, or I may do it Saturday, most likely, on a cast we're going to be doing for another semifinals match. So Nebula guys, get your names in. Whether you're in Nebula or not, you can get entries. If you're dropping subs or cheering with some bits, we'll get you in there. And anybody is game to win this thing. We're also giving away orange octanes, purple octanes, party time goal explosion, like a handful of other things, kind of all on the same night. We're gonna wrap a bunch of stuff off. It's gonna be fun. Looking forward to that. So without further ado, I think maybe.
If I'm not mistaken, I did hear you say something along the lines of a game 7.
A game 7. 7 game series, absolutely. And kickoff with Chrome Goose with the slight advantage there, but Cactus Jim trying to push us into the corner for a pass. And Money, it's kind of like what we were saying before. Anything can happen, but a lot of times we see these first games tend to be a little not slow necessarily, but people are feeling each other out. But that was almost a goal right there.
Riding on the edge of danger, as it seems here. Big shots coming out there. Chrome nearly catching his first one in the top left 90, but it evades him just so. Another one from Chrome here. Both defenders in. Baldy's got the ball to himself. A nice touch. Has to get it past the first. Gets interrupted on his way through. Chrome gets a nice touch to the wall with another 50 there with Cactus. And JRB is through the high ropes to the side wall in this case. And Baldy's going to get a nice booming clear. It is very much a back and forth game, as you've mentioned. And the booms happening there in the midfield. Yeah, definitely, I agree with you. The freaking game 1 is all just the touchy-feely. Feel each other out, see what's up, and, see how it goes from there and make adjustments.
Yeah, and a couple of touchy-feelies with that demo and a big bump from Baldy a minute ago. And we're going to see how the physicality impacts the pace of the game. It's something I tend to see a lot with our teams is as the series goes on, the physicality comes out like that demo, inadvertent but very powerful. even a 2v1 on their offense, but Nebula able to get through it as Chrome Goose trying to push off the backboard and misses, but a missed touch on that shot gives Baldy the save here as Goose is trying to collect himself and get this cleared out.
What a save. Baldy had just that amount of time.
If it wasn't for the missed touch on the shot, man, I'll tell you what. But right now, Oblivion's been keeping pretty good pressure, and this is going to go in. Baldy, coming from the corner, can't get back fast enough, and Oblivion Gaming gets on the board here just over 2 minutes into game number 1.
2 minutes in game number 1. That's quite the amount of time. Usually your game 1s, you find a pretty early goal in my experience, but if that's anything to tell us exactly how this series is going to kind of unfold here, where it's just going to be a while before teams find their first goal, this is going to be a pretty wild freaking series. And we've seen some pretty out there touches and pretty good attempts so far for a game 1 of all things. So maybe, you know, the team's probably feeling good tonight, bud.
I think so. And, you know, the defense, as this one, man, just happens to go in off of the wall. What a touch with that rebound after this pinch. And, man, those ones are just, it looked like it was backboard, and they were trying to collect themselves. And now we've got a tie game here right out in the midpoint of game 1.
We officially have a game. Another kickoff underway and done to the wind here. Chrome takes another shot. It's going to glance off that crossbar and out. Baldy's going to get one for himself. Almost a goal, but JR is there to put it to the side. His team needs a hero, and it was him for the moment. Chrome looks to get a touch there on the wall. It's a little bit of a misread here. Baldy's on the back line. JRB gets a touch and gives it to Chrome inadvertently here. One touch off the wall. Looks for the bump. Doesn't quite get it, but makes Cactus awkward into the corner. The midfield pass is coming next. There it comes out. Chrome is going to let that go. A little bit of a double commit coming out from Oblivion here. But on the back line here, we've seen a danger before. We've seen a shot. We've seen a save. And we've seen one go to the side from JRB. And, whoo, oh my, more demo attempts. I think, as you said, the physicality, I think, is going to be a big one.
Man, and it can be such a game changer too. It, you know, putting people on their heels, causing a little tilt, and just creating some extra space, right? As this shot attempt just barely gets saved by Cactus Jim. JRB pushing it down now as Goose on the defense. Good backboard touch, but gets bumped off. Trying to recover. Cactus Jim missing his shot. And Baldy now trying to go back on offense with Goose following this a little bit wide. Cactus Jim now with offensive pressure. Goose shutting that down. Shadow defense from GRB looking to push this over Baldy, but Baldy is there. And the defense right now from both teams is very strong. Rotation seems to be pretty tight as Baldy gets a demo on Cactus Jim to create that little bit of that space I mentioned a minute ago.
Oh my lord. We're clear for airlines here, and it's airline Chrome Goose, but it does not exactly leave the ground entirely. Very close, very dangerous. Had the space and decided to cook a little bit for us. That's quite the showing. Maybe we'll see a nice midfield defense there from Chrome here. Cactus is going to try to put this ball to the wall to do some magic of their own, but Baldy is coming in from the top ropes, goes for the dunk shot, but is not able to make it read. Chrome goes over the top, stopping any more progress here. Awkward on the sidewall, not a lot of boost for JR. Has one defender in his way, and Baldy gets a touch. An immediate redirect attempt from Cactus. In the corner with 6 seconds left. Will anyone score before regulation? It doesn't seem so here. Cactus is going to have one more shot. Here it comes. By one. Here's the second defender. Down and into overtime, Rill.
Man, unbelievable game number 1. The pressure on my side is building. I can't believe that we're in overtime already out the gates. And we've got some people in chat wondering if Cactus Jim is related to Cactus Jack. That's a great question. I wish I knew the answer to that. But we've got a good defense plays here by Omega Nebula as Goose trying to push this down to set up a shot. And Baldy now keeping this in play as Oblivion Gaming's trying to get this cleared out, but Baldy's physically just giving it to him. And Goose trying to come in with his shot. And pressure now mounting as Omega is going for another shot, but Sorry, JR Gaming is bumping Goose off, and they are coming back. They are not happy that Nebula has been giving it to him physically. And now this ball's hanging. This is on target. Baldy's there.
What an absolute 60 seconds of pain and aggression here. One mistake can end it all and give a team a nice early series lead, set themselves up to look good this series forward. That momentum that is always so important, I talk about so very much. Chrome's going to try to use some of that momentum off that wall. Cactus going to meet him on the low end. Baldy's there with a big shot off the sidewall, over the top of the last, and game number 1 is going to go to Omega Nebula. Holy shit.
Wow, what a way to end this game as well. Woo. Man, fantastic game number 1. What a battle. I'm kind of at a loss for words here because, like we talked about, these are usually cryptic. Thank you for dropping the subs, man. Much love. These games are usually kind of feeling each other out, and they definitely did that. But man, it got hot real quick, especially in that overtime. The bumps, the demos, these guys wanted to take that win home, and Omega just happened to get that opening and take that last shot for the win.
Sidewall shots, man, they're very dangerous, very well placed at that, though. But I remember seeing it was either 8 or 9 shots for Omega, and 11 I'm seeing here for Oblivion. That is a wildly aggressive game for game number 1. And it all seemed to come out there in that latter part there, especially in the OT. It was just wall-to-wall action the entire time. Neither team wanting to give it up, and it got pretty serious there after that overtime. I'm not gonna lie, but yeah, very well played to both teams.
Fantastic, love it. We're gonna head into game number 2 as Omega now going in with a 1-game lead in this best-of-7 series, and did we have a sub out? We did. Baldy got subbed out. Spaceman is in with Chrome Goose. And kickoff goes up, and Spaceman pushing this into the corner right away with a good clear from Cactus Jim. As we are going to see this battle for control here. Let's see what kind of shots get made, and JRB is there for the rebound. Just a little bit of a missed touch from Goose. Gives this pass to Cactus Jim, and JRB is there to knock that home. And an early goal, as you mentioned, we didn't see last game, Money. We do see this game just 14 seconds in.
I mean, it was a good play, right? Exploit the backboard. That is the biggest thing in this game that a lot of people don't do, but we've seen both these teams really try to use it a lot. It's just in this case, it worked out for Oblivion a bit earlier, but I'm expecting to see some magic on the back end here. Chrome taking a nice shot from that sidewall. Doesn't quite have the venom to push it forward and make it dangerous, but every shot's a good shot as long as it makes your opponent use boost and give up position. It can set you up for further victories. A demo attempt can set you up for a goal, but JR is going to get it over the top of the one defender coming there to make it happen for them, and Spaceman is going to take this to the top corner, and down they come. The Cactus trying to take a 50 there. JR off the sidewall, and Spaceman's going to have a nice clear downfield, take the shot. Will it fall in? Finds 2 defenders to take up the crossbar down, and the tap in from Cactus to give Spaceman the help he did not need in this case to tie it up.
I mean, it was a hell of a save off the crossbar. I got to give it to him, but that double commit on it was a bit of panic. I understand why it happened, but that did end up costing them, unfortunately. But, man, again, the plays that we're seeing here, I mean, this is a champ 1, maybe low end of C2 rank range. I'm having a brain fart, excuse me. So we're seeing some mechanics, but just the rotations is what really we see the best out of these players. The pressure they're applying, these balls are getting knocked out before they can think about making a pass in both teams, and it's just a fantastic pace.
The freaking demos, you've mentioned it, and it's like calling a punch bug, right? You remember that crap, right?
Yeah.
Once you see one, you've seen 50. We've seen one demo, now we've seen what feels like 50, and it's a lot of space. That damn sidebar is going to find JR in its good graces to put this in here. A little bit of a glancing touch there from Cactus. JR finds that post and it finds itself in. A 1-goal lead with 3 minutes and 9 seconds. It's a good start for Oblivion to get a lead, but it's not safe. You need to get one more, and if you're Chrome, you need to take this the rest of the way home here. One touch there. Does he get a second there? Tries to take the 50, but Cactus puts it to the corner. And Spaceman goes for the touch, is not successful, but JR is going to have one there. Takes the defender on a one-on-one, mano-a-mano style there. And it's now back into the hands of Dr. Spaceman for a shot over the top and finds itself down easy street here to tie it right back up.
Man, again with the back and forth. This is such an even matchup between these teams. And answered back both times very quickly after the goal is scored and Oblivion's in the game, in the lead of the game. But yeah, the demos, as you were saying, I tend to talk about it because I love it when I can use it strategically, but man, it drives me insane when I am the victim of bumps and demos, especially if it's a lot in a game or if in a series. It really drives me up the wall, and I just know that it plays a factor in that bump here, this touch. Take a look at this. He takes this shot here, but he follows this up and gets this bump. Oh no, he doesn't. The ball doesn't, excuse me. I thought he bumped Goose off the ball. At any rate, we have another lead now by Oblivion Gaming as we're back on kickoff, and we're going to see if this answered back quickly just as before, and it looks like it could be the dunk that didn't succeed, but what an attempt by Spaceman as Goose misses the recenter attempt, and we get this back at midfield for a little control battle again.
The midfield is where the battle begins, and my spiel is about to end with JR getting that goal for his team. The second goal for the lead. It feels good. 2 minutes and 4 seconds. There's a lot of time and a lot of Rocket League here, but good Lord, if there was ever a moment that really put a wrench in my gears there, it was definitely that there, JR. Appreciate you a lot, my friend. No, we don't hate the players out here.
That was funny, though. Yeah, and he's got the first multi-goal lead of the series here. 2 goals up.
Yeah.
And we've got, again, this midfield battle. But this is still a fantastic game as we get some aerial challenges there over the midfield with a shot followed up by Spaceman, putting the Omega Nebula within 1 goal now and keeping the pressure on. Still, as you said, Money, lots of time left, lots of Rocket League to play in this game, too.
Dude, it's literally back and forth, as you mentioned, over and over. It's freaking, it just is. It's factual at this point. You see 1 goal, you get a counter. There is 1 more to make up in the terms of a tie here, but with 1 minute and 30 seconds, plenty of magic and a Chrome Goose in the air. The ball is cleared out, back into the corner, back into the space of contention, but not before Spaceman gets a touch on this ball. When you get to the midfield, Spaceman takes a shot low right 90. Cactus finds himself there in due time. 50 comes out, very neutral between Chrome and JR. Very nicely done. Cactus has no boost to follow up. The pass midfield has no one to go to from JR. The demo finds him instead. Just gets one for his troubles, it seems, when he puts it midfield. Spaceman's going to find this off the ground for over the top of 1. Taking the 50 with the second does Chrome. He's going to try to go for 1 more touch. And do we see a follow-up shot here? Oh, the players leave it here, prioritizing boost and position, it seems. JR gets it around 1, but not the second. Big shot from the midfield into the corner with the bounce out. Leaves Spaceman a little awkward, but he is going to be there first to challenge. A little bit of an early flip, but Chrome is there on the back end. As we've seen so many times, there is always players back for both of these teams, Rilla. They seem to always kind of have their back ends covered, and that's why we've seen what you've been talking about. The 1-goal games always in a series.
Yeah, the rotations have really been tight. I think there's been, maybe 2 double commits. This kind of being one of them, unfortunately, for Nebula in the corner here. Partially because of the respawn, but Goose caught on his heels there and leaves the space for Oblivion Gaming to extend their lead to 2 goals. Again, short on time now. 20 seconds left, going to make it real difficult for Omega Nebula, but we have seen crazier things happen, have we not?
My God, dude. If I can't count on 2 hands how many times I've seen an absolute series get turned on its head in the last 16, but I can count on when goals kind of start running away. This is generally the time in the game when it happens. With the series being so young, let's just look at what's going on and let's just create a strategy, right? Yeah. Like this game, just start experimenting, having fun, and just lighten the mood and come in absolutely on fire next one.
And what's really amazing is this, and there's another shot, another goal from Nebula. What's really amazing is this game 1 went 1-1 in overtime, and game 2 we now have 10 goals on the board. I mean, this is almost night and day in terms of the scoring, but the battle not so much.
I mean, are we sure these are the same teams? Like, they are playing 180 degrees from each other right now, and finally it's going to go down and take us to a 1-1 series. Good lord, what a freaking just... It's fire and ice between game 1 and game 2 there for both freaking teams. 11 or 10 goals on the board. Holy goals on the board. Like, that's a lot. It's a lot of action.
Absolutely, yeah. What a fire match. I mean, just goal after goal. Oblivion Gaming had the heat just out a little quicker this game and takes that down. If the series is tied 1-1, we are going to head into game number 3 on Earth Central, and I am going to throw up a prediction. I'll see what you guys think. Who's going to win this game?
Oh, we love predictions. Predictions are fun and predictions are great, but you know what I think is greater? This game. What we're seeing. I think it's better. You didn't see that one coming, right? You know, I didn't flag that joke a million miles away.
Not at all. Not at all. But you know what? The action here has been fantastic. I am looking forward to seeing game number 3 kick off here. And go ahead and call that one.
Sounds good. Game number 3 is going to have a lot of promise, a lot of hope, and a lot on the line in terms of a series lead. 5 minutes on the clock here. Kickoff goes in the favor of Oblivion. JR is going to get the first touch for the wall. Does not have any boost to follow there. Baldy on the field here. Going to go for this wall read. Fakes out one. Buys himself time. 50s the second to find the third man. It always seems for the rotations there. It's a bit awkward, a bit slow, and a big 50 coming out there from Spaceman. He's going to keep this in the half of Oblivion here for this first coming on 30 seconds. Spaceman across the corner looking for the midfield pass. It gets around the defense. The shot is not quite there. Very close in the very end.
Yeah, but missed opportunity there from Baldy. Just couldn't get in position. That was a dime pass right in front of the net. But he is definitely back on defense now as Oblivion starts to line up their offensive pressure. And into the corner, Cactus Jim booms this ball, trying to read himself, and gets shut down by Baldy. Again, off the corner, into the backboard. Baldy is there for the clear, but Cactus Jim for the follow-up shot missing, or excuse me, getting blocked. And this could be, oh, I thought that was in. Baldy down with a big clear, pushing it down. Spaceman is there. Is he going to field the shot, or is he going to, oh, he does in the top corner, just getting it over. Cactus Jim, what a fantastic shot. See that little bit of air roll on his shot here, giving just an amazing pop to that ball, shooting it high and avoiding that crossbar, thankfully.
I mean, it's good shooting. It's shooting 101, right? Give yourself some offset, to give yourself that hook and that power. A little bit of air roll to give it that pop that you're talking about. And you can find dreams. And sometimes you don't need to touch it at all. The bounce shot is always one that is undefeated, at least once here in Rocket League. It finds its way in there. JR expecting the touch from Spaceman, but it does not happen and leaves him high and dry to let the second goal in, giving us that 2-goal lead this time in the favor of Omega Nebula.
Yes, definitely. And again, you know, with your comment about are these the same two teams? Omega now with a third goal on the board. A minute and less than a minute and a half into this game, 3-0 lead. You know, what's changed? We just seen this is why we do these multi-game series and lose one and done. Anything can happen. It's such a dynamic game, man. These will go from a 1-1 overtime match with a minute and a half overtime to now 4 goals being scored in a minute and a half of game number 3. the dynamics and the chemistry, everything seems to change sometimes from game to game. And will we see Oblivion Gaming now not crawl back, but come back and tie this game with their momentum shift on that goal?
I've seen goals change games, but it comes down to the state of mind of the players. At the end of the day, you got your big pillars of competition, right? And mentality is the largest of them all. It's about keeping your head up, keeping your head high, and keeping that ball moving, Spaceman here. Cactus Jim takes a shot. Baldy's on that back line. The touch to his own corner. He's going to find a second one around one. Looks for the second here. It's going to go into the hands of JR. Gets awkward with it, but Baldy's there to follow it up here. Again, finding the midfield pass, but Cactus Jim is waiting on that goal line for his team here, and Spaceman is going to get a touch here into the corner. Looks to get over one, gets 50. The back wall hopeful, the touch through, the no boost in the tank for JR. Leaves Cactus alone on a challenge. He does get one here. 45 a boost, a goal hopeful, and not quite able to get to the ball. Spaceman gets a missed touch, and Baldy is there to put it in on the back end. Those rotations again, Rilla.
My goodness, yeah, JR was just sitting too far back. I don't think he expected that miss there by Baldy, and didn't take advantage of it. Another miss now on Oblivion Gaming side, and it does cost them. They do get punished for this one because Spaceman is close enough to follow up and knock this in. And back to a 3-goal lead here for Omega Nebula. And we are just a little past the midpoint of this game. Still a lot left to play. Anything can happen. And, you know, these mistakes, we didn't really see a whole lot of these the last couple of games. So, you know, maybe there's a little bit of exhaustion with the high game speed and pace that's being played in the previous couple of games here. But we're seeing a little bit of different Rocket League being played by these two teams.
I'm seeing a lot more, like, okay, we've got demo aggression and physical aggression, but we have like overall team flow aggression is what I'm going to try to reference here and see if I do it successfully. Or if that pitch is going to find its way in successfully.
Oh my goodness.
Good Lord, I try to go off on a whim here, and something is always happening. And this time it's Spaceman and Cactus Jim, so I can't blame JR.
No, but man, what a challenge, and what luck there for Omega. With now with the 4-goal lead, with a lot to make up here for Oblivion Gaming. It can be done, especially if they can collect themselves and be the team they were the last game, or at least the first game, to keep the pressure up. As we get this ball saved and cleared, Baldy pushing it down now. Cactus Jim bringing it back, this little back and forth for control. Who's going to be able to maintain it and get past the defense, pull their offense into play?
We're seeing a bit of a momentum shift in terms of how the teams are playing. And you know what? It's funny enough, it's less demos overall, but more goals, right? Obviously, it's paying its dividends here for Omega Nebula. They're less physical on the player, but they are a heck of a lot more physical on the ball, as you can see, as they're no longer focusing removing somebody, but applying themselves in those team plays. And, I mean, I'm not going to lie. When it's 6-1, you can't deny that it's definitely paying its dues.
Absolutely, and it seems like that aggression, as you're saying, ball aggression, whatever you want to call it, has kind of put Oblivion Gaming on their heels. The rotations are not as tight as they have been the past couple of games, and that was a nice little team play they're trying to set up here, but that shot just misses his touch and puts that softly towards the corner, as Baldy now missing his touch the way he wanted it, but he's able to recover and steal this from JR and try to mount some defense and get this around to push the offensive game again. They are now taking possession as Spaceman's following this. Omega leaving the net a little bit exposed, but the shot is high. Spaceman looking for a flick and a dribble, missing that flick, losing control. Baldy is there as the follow-up. These rotations for Omega are just so tight in the reshot. Wow, the Brazil now, can they maintain it for 13 seconds and hold it? Just a completely different scoreboard here in game number 3.
Wow. Game 1 was just, it was an OT. Game 2 saw, it just did. And then game 3, this is absolutely insane to literally have these different types of games happening all in one here. And Omega Nebula seems to be very much in their stride here, feeling very comfortable, very good, and it's going to fall into the hands of Oblivion to find out exactly how to trip them up and slow them down, because at the end of the day, it's the pace and working together that is absolutely paying its dues here. 5 goals for Spaceman out of 6 shots. That's the conversion ratio, 5 for 6. That's a very nice shot to goal ratio there for Dr. Spaceman, and it's just, good lord, man. 3 assists for Baldy. It just pushes my point home about the team play, right?
Absolutely, yeah. The tail of the tape of the scoreboard just really tells the story. The pressure, the control was primarily from Omega Nebula, and that I think Oblivion, you can see they're not readying up. We will take the full time here anyway, but this gives them a minute to collect themselves and maybe take a deep breath and come into game 4 with a little bit of a clear head and fresh start. Hope that they can play more like they did in game 2 or game 1.
Absolutely. I think that was peak Oblivion there. They seemed very centric focus on keeping control of that ball rather than trying to move the ball, right? So for some teams, it's all about movement. Others, it's all about controlling it. And it's, I think you're right. I think a little bit of a shift. We need to see something different, or Omega Nebula is going to continue in this absolute sprint race to the finish here, now leading 2-1 here in this best of 7.
Absolutely, as kickoff is underway now. Baldy versus JR Gaming. Baldy pushing this down on the orange side of the corner, but we've got Cactus Jim with a nice wall pinch to push this back into the Omega side, and the demo leaves some less pressure, but Baldy with the big clear, kind of chewing up that time that they had, that 3 seconds or so until the respawn, and JR Gaming with a shot getting shut down by Baldy now in this back and forth in midfield here, as we've got a missed touch by JR Gaming and a shot attempt by Baldy off target. Spaceman looking to try to keep this in play, almost dunking Cactus as he gets to clear, but Baldy is there to answer back. Everybody is up now for this ball before it can hit the backboard. Oblivion trying to just keep the shots away, but this miss leaves them exposed again, and Spaceman brings it home to put 1 on the board for Omega Nebula. Game number 4, just under a minute into this game.
I mean, we're starting to see it's a little bit longer here to get this goal here to set us off and get us in motion, but I've already seen it. I've seen the difference in what Oblivion is trying to do. They're trying to stop those attacks. They're not trying to rely on taking them out at the midfield. They're trying to take them out on their end of the field, their own home goal, and then get a fast counter. Stop those passing plays, stop those backboard reads, and then run with it as fast as you can, trying something new. And it kind of held Omega a little awkward there, but if you're just bigger than life, Spaceman, you're going to put it through one way or the other and get the second one.
And the force of this right here, Cactus Jim just did not have real velocity of his vehicle and just gets overpowered by Spaceman to take that lead to 2 as we have kickoff again. Spaceman hauling the ball, and Cactus Jim following up and missing the shot. This wide open net. What a missed opportunity for Oblivion Gaming as they now are rolling back on defense. And a little awkward in the corner together, and that just gets across speedily before Spaceman can make the shot. Cactus Jim now trying to dribble this down. JR Gaming blasting it down into the corner, but Baldy missing. And we've got, the punishment for that miss from Baldy here. He got too far into the goal, or Spaceman. No, it was Baldy's. And down to a 1-goal lead here for Nebula. Oblivion on the board. A little more than 3 minutes left to go.
It's looking a bit better for Oblivion here. They are holding themselves together very nicely. They're finding the errors. They're finding ways to get goals out of the moments. Getting some pretty decent looks here. If Cactus can put this on target, might find another, but Spaceman is pretty quick on his feet, or his wheels, if you will. We go to the corner. He's got very little boost in the tank. He gets a little bit of a touch there to the midfield, but finds Cactus instead. It's going to race down to Omega's corner. Baldy's got to go for a touch across his own net, and Cactus is going to rush the moment and seize the goal to tie us up here. That 2:48 on the clock here, and like I said, they're finding those little moments to try and sneak in at their own bit of punishment, and so far it's working for them.
Absolutely capitalizing on that error by Baldy, and you know, again, this is a different Oblivion. We're back to the game 1, game 2 Oblivion as far as I'm concerned, as far as the score is concerned of this game, as we're tied now, hitting in the midpoint of the game. Spaceman with a booming touch over one defender. He gets a touch, JR does, but not enough as Spaceman knocks that home, and Omega's back in the lead again. But what an attempt by JR. That touch there, just a little more pop, and he would have had that above, off the crossbar backboard or something. And just unfortunate, right at the midpoint, going into kickoff, back in the Oblivion corner with Cactus Jim pushing this out from the ceiling.
Only just tried to read that bounce off the ground, and I applaud it. And I like the goal too, the momentum and keeping it in play. JR finds it in the end, but we're seeing it's definitely in the realm of, as I'm saying, like they're trying to capitalize, they're trying to take good 50s. I'm not so sure about taking big 50 their opponent in their corner, but I can't argue with a goal, just maybe not all the time, right?
They're back, baby. That's all I'm gonna say. They're back. Cactus Jim sneaking this thing in so quick off of the kickoff, and man, Oblivion is just looking like their former selves from game 1/game 2. And we have this heated battle is back, and they do not want to give up this series. They want to equalize it out and take this game and put it in 2-2 so they can really hit their stride again, maybe next game, and do their dreams in the finals, maybe. I don't know, but Omega is going to definitely have something to say about this, as Spaceman taking the control from Cactus Jim. Can he get this cleared out? Pass to JR, that does go high. Baldy missing his touch, and it's open, and that does get put in by Cactus Jim. Just a soft, lofty touch right into the top shelf of this goal. Baldy's miss just unfortunately gave the opportunity here. And a 2-goal lead now, from a 3-goal deficit to a 2-goal lead. Oblivion has swung 5 unanswered goals in here in game number 4.
Yeah, it's going to be all about they're finding those little moments and finding the little errors with Omega here. And there's going to be a little bit of tidier control on your outs. And that's what's giving Oblivion these moments here. That's some really awkward play happening there in the midfield. Dr. Spaceman is going to find the touch out through to the backfield. And Baldy's going to be there for the shot, but not before the defense takes that 50. And the race back here, Spaceman gets a touch to the side. JR is going to have this ball one touch, make it to the crossbars, the third, and Spaceman's the fourth here for the run home. Just put it on target, Spaceman, finding the low left 90, keeping us on the edge of our seats there.
I thought he missed it. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe. But he did. He didn't. Okay, so now we're back to a 1-goal deficit for Omega now, 5-4. We got 9 goals on the board. What was game number 2? Ended up with 9. I think we ended up with 9. I mean, these high-scoring games now. Game 3 was 7-1. Again, from that game 1, tied 1-1 overtime. It's the offense on both teams finding those gaps and really just applying the pressure. These rotations have really started to come back into play. This getting over one defender, but the other is there to save. Cactus Jim is able to push this out with an open net on Omegula's side. He's going to be able to walk this in without any boost even. Spaceman tries to get there, but their lead now going back up by 2 goals. 10 total goals here in this game. 34 seconds left to go. Can they hang on to it? I mean, the answered goals this whole series, I mean, we're going to see where this ends up.
Absolutely. In the next 34 seconds, we're going to see if it is game point or an all-tied series. 27 to go now with 2 goals to make up for it. Omega Nebula is hot on that task here. Spaceman's going to get one touch. Looks for the second. There's the control. There's the attempt at the pop over there, but Cactus is going to get in the way. The corner's going to be there for Cactus. Here he goes through the air. Gets a little bit of a miss momentum on that ball, leaving JR to deal with the offense of the Omega. 7 seconds, 2 goals, excuse me. Here we go, make it happen here. We're on the back end, but it's Cactus Jim in turns of things to make it by 3 with 1 second left. Why not? And you know what? I'm not a man of maths. I'm not no predictionist, but I think we're going to go to a 2-2 series here, Rilla.
I think it's a high probability, my friend. And this now just a formality as we do end game 4, and the series is tied again with this back and forth. What a battle, and what what a change of momentum did that game have right around the midpoint. Again, with the 3-goal deficit, it was 3-0. Omega Nebula and Oblivion Gaming just lit the torches and came back, exploited some mistakes, and ended up on top by 3 goals. And what a really great game.
Oblivion definitely taking a leaf out of the books from Omega's game there. 3 assists for JR, 6 for 8 on the shots to goals for Cactus. It's a very fine conversion ratio again. It's just the teams have to find their comfort zone, grab on tight, and absolutely run with whatever they can as hard as they can. We've seen what both teams are capable of. Now it's about who's going to make those little tiny adjustments better and catch the other team kind of slacking on it. At this point, I don't know who's going to take this. We've seen such good stuff from both teams. I have no idea who this even favors, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it is a dead heat. I totally agree. As we head into game number 5, we had that prediction up a while back, and I think from the voting, it looked like everybody primarily voted for Omega Nebula. That was in game 2 after the game 1 victory in overtime. As this quick mistake on kickoff by Chrome Goose leads to a 2-second goal for Oblivion Gaming. And, it's never a good way to start the match, but it is easy to shake that one off. But at any rate, getting back to what I was saying, it seemed like, the first 2 games, Omega was really favored, and now we've had this major comeback for Oblivion, and they are keeping the pressure on, but the missed touch by JR, unfortunately.
Trying to work with the momentum on that 2-second goal, the kickoff, giving them the early lead. Oblivion there. Oh my God, Baldy, that's a close touch and a nice try onto that read and the dunk across there. JR is going to get a booming touch. Does not find the goal there, but a bit of road rage happening here on the back wall between Baldy and Cactus. Chrome's going to take a nasty 50 here, going through still the road rage, locked horns. Here we are, riding the bull. I guess they took what I said about grabbing on tight and holding on too seriously. And JR finds at the top ropes for their second goal here inside the first minute.
Oh man, Chrome Goose just with 0 in the tank there, looking for a touch, but didn't know where the striker was, and the touch he made was not enough to get that ball past the goal. And now we've got a 2-goal lead by Oblivion Gaming. Less than a minute played in game number 5, and this reshot here by JR on that challenge finds the net as well. And complete opposite of last game, now we've got Oblivion 3-0 up, and very short time into this game, and less than a minute in. Not the start you want from Omega Nebula, but we know these guys can fight, and hopefully they can keep this game alive and apply some pressure here quickly as this kickoff is kind of stalled here at midfield. But the reshot by JR Gaming, oh my God, that was so fast. That ball, let's see the speed on this. 76, what a banger. Wow.
Ooh, crap. That's a fine shot. I have no arguments there. Like, absolutely not.
And the net was open also, but absolutely.
Yeah. This is quite the different pace here. Oblivion seems to find their place here nice and early. It's 4 goals, yes. We'll make it 5. But it's 3:55 to come back and make something of it. The game is still very young. So, Omega, this is where that mental comes in, right? This is where keeping your head up, keeping your head on your shoulders, and looking at the goal and keeping it in sight is going to be so important. Because, yes, the goals look daunting, but the time is just, it looks nice. It's easy to make a comeback for it. They just got to put their heads to it and make it happen.
Yeah, 1,000%. Absolutely. We got this big booming clear from Baldy, a fantastic challenge with the 50, and this is floating in front of the Oblivion net, and a little bit of assistance from Oblivion. That ball still cannot find its home, and Cone Goose with the touch that keeps this from going. Just an easy shot on the open net, but the pass from JR was primo. Cactus Jim is there, flying in to smack this down into the net, and now we've got a 6-0 game in favor of Oblivion. Still, as you said, Money, plenty of time left to recover, but man, if they don't recollect themselves, this is just going to seem like it's going to keep getting worse.
Absolutely, man. So 324, we got a touch here. Chrome Goose is going to take one on the head here to put it forward. Shakes a 50, looks for the bump there midfield on the recovery, or the goal line, excuse me. Baldy's going to chase this low, leave it. JR is going to get one touch and grabs the boost here. Looks for the shot. Doesn't have a lot of potency. Leaves it nice and easy for Baldy here. And Baldy gets one more on the wall. Cactus is going to be there to stop it early there with one more in the tank, it seems there. Chrome has one for an answer themselves. A touch in the midfield. The unintended recipient is going to be Cactus. Another shot is stopped by Baldy. What a save. Cactus is going to put it in on the low left 90. And find them their 7th goal. This is some of the most bipolar Rocket League I've seen. It seems like both teams just have absolute banger games.
Yeah, this is insane, man. I don't know what to say. We're just seeing a little bit. It's a little bit of chaos, I feel like. Oh, finally an answer back here, and a quick passing play from Omega Nebula. Goose down deep in the corner kicks this out quick, and Baldy is on point to smash this in. And still with a little more than half the game left to play, Omega finds themselves on the board. They are not giving up, as you stated with your talk about the mentality aspect of this. If you start thinking the game is over, man, it will be, and Omega is not ready to make that statement to themselves, as they are going to fight here and push this and give a little space, I guess, as Oblivion tries to bring this in, but it's taken by Baldy, and that demo on Goose for trying to carry it down, as we see this battle for control at midfield again playing out. And Oblivion, and this inadvertent pass by, oh my god, by Omega Nebula in front of their own net almost gets punished from Oblivion. And we're back to this midfield roll battle. Goose now pushing it to the corner, short on boost, cannot push it further. Jim, see the plays, kind of, defense is playing, keeping the balls closer to midfield. We're not seeing a lot of things coming together. We're less than a minute 45 now left to play. Omega's got to pull some plays together if they're expecting to make any kind of comeback. And there you go.
The plays we've seen work the absolute best for Omega has been their team plays. You see a bit of that coming there, the pass through the pop and the shot finds its way, and they get a goal. The reward is almost immediate as soon as the passing starts coming back into the realm of their cards to play on the table. They found themselves their second. 5 is easier to get than 6, and surely 7. So the steps are being taken to make it happen, but time is slowly not on their side, but Baldy is on the side of Omega Nebula, and lucky for them in the 3rd goal here. And you know what? We're going to say it again, Rilla. It's easier to get 4 than it is 5. You see what I'm doing here?
Right, absolutely. Absolutely. A minute 25 left to play. Back on kickoff now. Down, the deficit cut down to 4 goals, as Omega is trying to claw back and make a comeback here, as they've seen the 3 goals kind of in short time order. But the pressure mounting again by Oblivion to keep this ball on Nebula's side of the field. JR now pushing it down again. Baldy with a big booming clear. Can he follow this with a double touch? Not if Cactus Jim has anything to do with it. But the team plays may be coming here from Omega Nebula, and they are. Lord. The 4th goal now by Omega in this comeback attempt. 4 straight unanswered goals. 55 seconds on the clock. Can they do? Now it's like a thing that I feel like we got to root for. I mean, I'm a Nebula guy, so I do anyway. But man, this is what happened last game, the other way around, where Oblivion was down, no goals on the board, and just rapid goals unanswered, and made a massive comeback.
Absolutely. It's looking good for Omega there. Chrome gets a nice touch out there, putting it out of danger. Cactus puts it back in. Baldy's got to be on. He is. Looks for one more. Chrome gets that touch. Baldy's got a net, and he's got a shot to answer. Ladies and gentlemen, we're now within 2. You can't but help to root for the underdog in a game right now. And coming back from that deficit, it's got to feel good. It has to just feel absolutely amazing if you're Baldy and Chrome Goose right now.
The momentum shift, I guarantee these guys are like getting goosebumps and like, oh my God, we can do this. Absolutely. There's no better feeling than that of a major comeback. However, Cactus Jim now is desperately trying to shut it down here with this goal, pushing the lead back to 3. And 21 seconds is not enough time many times to get 3 goals, but we're about to find out if Omega Nebula can do it.
Gotta be 7 seconds per goal here. Will it happen? Will we see the comeback that we've been prophesizing, or are we going to see Oblivion come back in a very nice form and good fashion here, taking the series in their name at this point here with 6 seconds, and there's the goal we're talking about, but not on time, but it is a nice goal nonetheless. We like the shots. Separated by 2, all the way from, what was it, 7? We had a Brazil, and now it's 6-8. What an absolute turnaround, but this one, it does appear it's going to be going into the favor of Oblivion here for the 3-2 at the end of this.
Yeah, it's almost like I feel like the team secretly made a pact to have every game that follows have more goals total than the game prior because there's 14 goals on the scoreboard. I mean, unbelievable what we've seen here in this game. The huge momentum shift by Omega. The second half, or really the last 2 minutes of this game was unbelievable. And they're going to carry that into game number 6 because now we've got Oblivion with match point, right? So they win this next game, it's over. Omega has to fight hard. This momentum is going to help them in the start of this game at least. We're going to carry this over to my favorite, Utopia, and head up to game number 6.
I gotta admit, Neo Tokyo, that's one of my favorites. I love the original Neo. Not a fan of the new one.
Yeah,
original?
The new one got people divided. The original is fantastic. I mean, I love it. I love a little bit of the darker maps. It's not that dark, but it's kind of got darker colors. But what really, yeah, I'm kind of a nerd, right? But early on, it's the commentator, the Japanese, all that stuff.
I love
really
it,
brings
yes.
it home for me. I love it. The Bob's Ramen in the background, all of this stuff. As we are hyping up the start of game number 6 now, as we've got Spaceman and Cactus Jim stalling this ball at midfield, and Baldy and JR with the challenge here. Baldy looking to put something together to drive this to a pass, and he gets a wall pinch up. A Spaceman playing a good second man, just hanging back, not allowing an open net to take place, especially early into this game.
I mean, despite how last game ultimately ended, there's a lot of lessons and a lot of stuff to unpack and take forward there. What Omega was doing was absolutely freaking working, and if they're keeping up with it, they realize it. They need to keep doing it, as it was absolutely working for them here. But still 0 seconds, good lord. 0 goals here inside that first minute, leaving us here high and dry for goals, as the opposite of what I'm saying is going to start to happen in front of me. Dr. Spaceman is going to quench my thirst at the very least. I don't know about Rilla over here, but I am thirsty for some goals, and he's definitely provided with that one.
Yeah, you know what? Is that your 3rd or your 4th time where you're talking about something and the opposites happen in this game? I love it. It's making me giggle in the background here, but Omega on the board early now as the first minute ticks off the clock, excuse me. And Oblivion now looking to try to put some plays together, but they get a little bound up there. Baldy trying to capitalize and pound this into the net, but it gets shut down. Spaceman now into the corner. Cactus Jim with a great touch off the wall in the corner, and JR just barely missing his shot attempt. Baldy Cactus Jim back and forth. Spaceman waiting by the net to clear this out. Good touch here as JR tries to recenter this ball. Baldy is waiting before they have a chance to get any kind of a shot on it. And the defense and the rotations are strong right now from Omega Nebula as they try to put an offensive play together. Dr. Spaceman up, bouncing that high off the backboard. Baldy is there for the touch. Spaceman cannot get recovered to make another shot attempt. As this goes high into midfield, back into Omega Nebula's control for the moment.
Dude, I thought for sure some real stuff was about to occur there on the last end, but it's just the small margins. That's another thing I love to talk about here. It's the tiniest of margins between these teams and their play styles, and it's just like if you hit something a little different and it's a goal, right? And it's just, we're seeing that here. The pinches, that would have been what, the third pinch goal we've seen? Absolutely insane. Yeah. Spaceman is going to take that 50 with JR. Cactus Jim is going to have to race this ball, takes the touch, finds the open net, and gets that tie up. But I'm going to sit here and talk about it for a second. It took half the game to get us 2 goals on the net from what seemed like, how many goals? 14 last game? Like, there's no shot. That ain't real life, Rilla.
Yeah, I mean, you couldn't write a story better than this. Honestly, the back and forth nature of not only the game wins, the scores in these games, and even the amount of scoring in these games. We now have a game number 1 retaking place, essentially, as they head tied into 2 minutes left to play in this game, and the battle for control by both teams. A little bit of a miss there by Spaceman, and just trying to get some team plays put together. I mean, last game there was just a ton of team plays and error capitalization. This game, the first error gets capitalized right there by Baldy. This missed touch and a little bump as well by their teammates prevents them from trying to make any kind of a save attempt. We've got Omega with a lead, a 1-goal lead. Here are 2 minutes of play.
It's, the team plays are good, and Oblivion's trying to cut them off at the knees with them there. A nice touch over 1. 50's the second here, and JR is going to beat the offense there to that ball. There's no boost in the tank, making him awkward. A 1 over the top. Baldy is going to go all the way and put it there, bottom right 90, close post also, if you will, and put it right in front of the nose of his opponent. They're finding the gap and finding their 3rd goal, all in 1 sentence from me. Speaking at a 3rd grade level today.
No, you know what? That was a great little solo play from Baldy, honestly. Pushing that through the corner, getting a really good touch to get around the first defender, and squeezing that in before the second defender has a chance to get to the ball. As now, after the kickoff, we are seeing another play come together from Omega Nebula, but a fantastic save by JR, and the following touch by Cactus Jim takes the pressure off the defense, if only for a moment. And a couple of misses here, and unfortunately for Oblivion, costing them again as Omega Nebula now is up 4-1. A minute 20 left to play, and I honestly expect at this point to start seeing Oblivion making a comeback because that's kind of how things have played. But it very well could just be another runaway game for Omega Nebula to tie the series and push this to a Game 7.
Not gonna lie, I am a massive fan of Game 7. It's where things absolutely get unhinged, dude. Yeah. So, but we're going to talk here a little bit about what's happening. The 3-goal separation, I'm not going to speak too heavily into it, as you mentioned. Like, it doesn't seem to matter with these teams. So, anything can happen going forward. Back wall, no boost for Cactus, takes a 50 here with Spaceman. He's going to get a second 50. This one does find its way out and find itself into the hands of JR. A little bit of an awkward there. So now it keeps it out of the hands of Baldy for a moment, but we see Baldy get a touch off the wall, tries to go for the dunk. Spaceman in the back, a nice shot, almost finds its way in. The announcer calling it better than I can. And keeps us at 3. What a save.
Yeah, that was a really fantastic save. Oh my god, and the challenge here, a little bit of pinball action with the ball between the cars as the defender gets the initial save and off of Baldy into Spaceman into the net, as a 4-goal lead is pretty much going to seal the deal here with 19 seconds on the clock. Not impossible, but probably unlikely here for Oblivion to make a tie comeback, especially with that finding its home after the kickoff. Baldy seeing this pinch out and just reading it perfectly, almost bumping JR, which would have missed a shot. And Cactus Jim barely missing the save attempt.
Oh my lord.
Game 7, here we come.
Feeling Game 7, baby. I'm excited. That's where everything, all the doors, you can't find one on its hinges because they're all coming off in Game 7. Any bit of tap, any bit of juice left here is going to be out the door. You even see Space People for a little bit of an air dribble play there. He's feeling it. He wants it. He knows. It's Game 7. And 6-1 there in Game 6. It's one of those things where any other series, any other two teams, I'd be like, dang, that's a nail in the coffin, bud, getting done down by 5, but not these two teams, man. Like, they've shown time and time again, it does not matter how big of an L each team takes between rounds. They always come back and just seem to, like, they're just in a slap contest. You know that thing you see on, like, YouTube or whatever?
Yes.
This is what this is at this point.
Oh, my God. Yeah, I mean, just a fantastic series so far. I mean, we've seen blowouts, we've seen overtimes, we've seen damn near everything so far. We're about to see a game number 7 on Champions Field. Could there be an overtime? Just the fucking cherry on top, excuse my language, would be an overtime in this game number 7 with these two teams just beating each other down to try to take this victory and go to the finals. I mean, we really got with these guys, again, the number 6 and the number 7 seeds. According to how these were matched, they shouldn't even be really playing here in the semifinals, but they both want this so badly as we head now into the start of Game 7, Champions Field, JR Gaming kicking off here against Baldy. Let's go.
Oh my God. Game number 7 with 5 minutes here of regulation. Heard a little bit about what we were talking. Ended as it began with game number 1 in an OT, and Dr. Spaceman is going to give me a goal to talk about in the first 6 here. Let's see what exactly how this played. A readout there comes off the wall nicely for him. The touch, the bottom right 90, and the splash. There you go. Gives the first goal to Omega, and, you know, kind of sets them up nicely, but as I've mentioned, it's just, you know, you never know with these teams like anymore. It's kind of crazy how this series is went.
Yeah, absolutely. Those kickoff goals, those are one of my favorite ones, where that ball runs up the side wall. The shots are so hard to defend because they come from a high angle. You've got usually both players trying to recover and get in position after that kickoff, and that's what opened that up here for Spaceman as we see this battle deep in Nebula's corner for control, and Nebula trying to get this cleared out. Spaceman able to do it temporarily. JR pushing this back down into the other corner, the blue side of the field. And Spaceman with the second touch, getting this pushed out, setting up Baldy for this fantastic shot midfield, putting it home. Top shelf again, and their lead now is 2 goals, and we're 51 seconds into the game. So a strong start from Omega Nebula. Let's see if they can keep this up.
You've seen it as well as I've seen it right now. I can see it. Both teams, they've effectively taken the power knob and just ripped it off. Both teams are really, you can see the intensity difference. I don't know what it is. You think they'd be playing as hard as they can through like game 4, game 5, whatever? No, it's game 7. This is a different breed of the two teams right now. Looking very violent and much in the sense of just, it was a fight. What do we see? The 20 seconds of just 50s and fighting over it in like a half of the field. It was freaking crazy to see. And 2 goals here inside that first minute and a half. It feels good, and it's a nice step in that right direction. But you've got a very dangerous team to go against as well, so you can't find much comfort in it. You just got to keep pushing forward, Rilla.
Absolutely, and as you say, the pressure here is now mounting. They've got all cylinders firing. We've got Omega Nebula really right now playing very clean and fast here on the defense. That ball has not spent very much time on their side of the field at all, and I think that we're probably going to see Oblivion start to tick this up a notch as we've seen in the other games. But right now, game number 7 on the line. Their lives on the line for the playoffs, for the finals win. A great pass by JR, but a little too slow. Spaceman able to get there. A reshot by JR. Cactus Jim cannot get in position quick enough. Spaceman now looking at that open net, but JR, or Cactus Jim, excuse me, with a strong demo. And really, as you said, fighting now, brawling for control so that they can keep this ball off of their side of the field.
Somebody call the authorities. We have a bar fight underway, and it is between Oblivion and Omega here. Who's going to come out on top there? Spaceman's going to find a 50 in the midfield to stop that ball and dead in its tracks. Baldy happens to work through JR and his multi-touches there, finds it through and finds a ball forward, but finds himself demoed. Spaceman is going to take this one back. Cactus is going to rush it to the midfield on the pass. JR is going to take a shot, find it, bottom right 90, and get them their first goal a little bit under that 2-minute mark that's left in this series, frankly.
Yeah, absolutely, and you couldn't see it in the replay, but there was a bump on Cactus Jim that just throttled him towards the ball and allowed him to get that passing touch, and JR just read that perfectly to be in the right spot to knock that in the net. As we see Omega Nebula trying to put some team plays together of their own, and right now I kind of feel like Oblivion's momentum has shifted a little bit. They're shutting Omega down right now and keeping these shots out of the net. Great save by JR as Cactus tries to drive this downfield with the demo now on the hands of Spaceman. And a little answer back from the demos that have happened on Omega so far. This ball's high over mid-center. Spaceman not able to put that shot on target. Cactus Jim now getting a little bit awkward with his touch. And Spaceman again keeping this in play. They are trying to get these team plays set up. This is a high lofty ball, but we did not have Baldy in position for that shot. And the same for this, but oh my god, almost an own goal by JR off of the post, the far post. I did not expect that at all. My goodness.
This is freaking insane. 14 goal games to now 40 seconds and 3 goals total. You couldn't tell a better story, but I don't necessarily hate what I'm seeing. Yes, there was a lot of attempts. There was a lot of pushing. It was a lot of keeping the ball in the offensive half for Omega there. And the important thing is it was making Oblivion go for it. It was making them use that boost and making them weaker and weaker over time. Unfortunately, if you're Omega Nebula, you didn't find a goal, but it did find yourself with 12 seconds left ahead by 1 with 8 seconds on the clock. Will we find this a 2-1, or we find ourselves tied? Baldy's going to try to find a demo and a bump there. 1 second, keep it up, and it's down. Holy crap, Rilla, I'll let you do the announcement.
I know, you know what? Fantastic series. Omega Nebula taking the victory with a 1-goal win here in game number 7. And going into the finals, we've got Omega. So one of the members here on Omega, that Goose, that was not in this game but played a few games this series, he is a champion from last season on the Threes team, Dark Nebula. So I guarantee, is just completely stoked to be heading to the finals again, as is Spaceman and Baldy. But hats off to Oblivion Gaming, JRB, Cactus Jim. Very great games that I can't even really put words together for just the massive blowouts you guys had in the fight that you put up to take this all the way to game 7. I sincerely appreciate you, Money, for joining me. I think I had a lot of fun. I hope everybody watching enjoyed as well. I'd love to do this again with you sometime, and we appreciate everybody for hanging in and watching this match.
Absolutely, I appreciate the invite. Like I said, the jokes earlier, I appreciate you guys inviting me on here and whatnot. This was an absolute, what a series to get invited to the cast with, right? Like, game 7, 14 goal games, just back and forth, massive comebacks. Like, I couldn't ask for better Rocket League to be a part of, and I really appreciate it.
Well, I thank you for joining me. It's really been a lot of fun. And everybody, we had a great turnout for tonight's match. I hope we can see many of you back. If you have not followed us, and if you're new here, I know we got some new people watching us. Please give us a follow. We appreciate your support. We will be having 2 or 3 more matches for semifinals this week, and hopefully we got at least one for next week in the finals. Hopefully we'll have a couple more. I will definitely be hitting you back up, Money Magic. Appreciate it. I think we did a great together. I think everybody seemed to really enjoy. The chat was super lively, but the matches was so intense. I really didn't pay much attention to the chat tonight because I was so just engrossed in this match. Fantastic game. I love watching Rocket League. Glad you were able with that with the game.
Absolutely.
All right, we're gonna wrap this up. Again, to do my little shout out about our giveaway, we've got that titanium white giveaway we will be giving away. I don't want to hold off to next week because we got that trading deadline. You know about that, right? No more trading after next week. So we're gonna get that traded off this week, probably Friday or Saturday. Stay tuned for that. Anybody can enter. We got some people that threw up some bits, and much appreciation for that. And subs, Cryptic, I seen you. Thanks so much, everybody. We will see you again very soon. Have a wonderful night.